words. I think that we are live now, guys. How are you?
All right, let's check. I'm checking my phone.
I'm flying to Amazon non-stop. I want to see that everything is okay and everything is work as it should. Actually, since I have the new software, everything works perfect.
I told you.
You told me. Actually, I have to admit that you told me all the way to use that one. So we are live. I can see myself, I can see you, and I can see very handsome person there on the right up. So Shane, good night.
Well, I've been called a lot of things before, but not usually handsome. So thank you.
Okay, so before all the viewers that usually watch us and join our webinars every week, before they join us, I want to do the most important thing. I want to share that webinar, that live show with other people in other groups. So I will take a minute and share it in my personal profile and in other group that I'm admin there. And meanwhile, Gilad, you can little bit tell us who is that guy and where did you meet and what we are going to talk tonight. It's we have many interesting subjects tonight.
Yeah, well, the way I work is that every time I meet somebody interesting, I'm taking his phone number and then we set up another meeting, and then he tells me exactly everything that he's doing. So it was exactly the same with Shane. We met in one of the conferences of Amazon. We're both speakers over there. And I took his number, and then we set up another meeting, and then it was just focused on what he's doing, and it was fascinating. He's going to be sharing with us everything about press releases and how it's connected with Amazon. I didn't know half of the things that he said were just shocking to me, actually, like how effective it is.
Actually, I was shocked as well because I didn't know that we can use to promote something in these days with that old media. So,
right. And you think Google, who cares about Google? I mean, where the shoppers are already on Amazon. I don't care where I am on Google, which is a complete bullshit. And you have no idea how it helps. I know it from also my personal experience since then. I'm working with Shane also. Yeah, so this will be very interesting. Actually, I'm waiting for him to share his knowledge.
Okay, so I'm very curious. And good night, Shane. Good evening, Shane. Thank you first of all that you cleaned your schedule for us, and you prepared that interesting presentation that I saw a little bit before. And I have to say that I enjoyed very much of the 15-20 minutes that we met before the show, the broadcast. So I believe that it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be a very like something new, something that we didn't see in our group in our last webinars. So Shane, after we told about what you're going to do and it gave some clues about, now it's your turn to tell us what we're going to talk tonight. And first of all, who are you?
Yeah, well, I'm Shane. I hope I don't horribly let you guys down, because Gilad, honestly, I just made all that stuff up when I was talking. So
I noticed that, but some of it was true, and that was I was trying to be focused on.
Yeah. I mean, I've been selling on Amazon for a while now, I guess. I mean, there's certainly been people selling for a lot longer than I have. Maybe 2013, I guess, I got the start. So that was really sort of in those boom years, when it was really on the rise. It was probably a lot easier back then too. Amazon was truly the Wild West. There were so many hacks in the platform and tricks. There wasn't a lot of competition, and it was just easier in general. Some might say that it's actually easier now because things are more formalized. Like, you can't draw outside the lines as much as you used to be able to do it, and that fits some people a little bit better. But yeah, so I've been selling on Amazon for I guess 7 years now. Different brands. I've done coaching. I created the if you guys are familiar with the ASM, the Amazing Selling Machine. They were one of the first, and still probably a sort of a flagship course, I guess. Mostly designed for people who really have no experience at all. It's a great entry point, I think. I did 2 of theirs. I did ASM 5 and 6. I think they're on their 12th or 13th version now. But that was a really great experience. I met a lot of wonderful people. And then one thing led to another. And it's funny, all these people I know from the early days, early days being 6-7 years ago, they've all gone on to be, really big seller. A lot of them doing 8 figures a month, or a lot of them have gravitated into Amazon related businesses. Maybe they got into software as a service, or all these other kind of supportive things. It's kind of interesting how that community evolved, and you knew it would, just like anything online evolves rather rapidly. And that's what happened to me is, my partner in crime at prREACH, the company that Norm and I own. I met Norm, my partner, at one of these events, and we bought prREACH from a friend of ours, Rob Burns, and we changed it into basically it's evolving. Our website doesn't really reflect what we're doing. It's going to be completely overhauled, but it's now more of a vertically integrated communications company. And we don't just do Amazon stuff. And as you'll see during the presentation, we go deep into branding. So, we've got plenty of clients who don't want to be on Amazon, or maybe 10% of their businesses are on Amazon, for example. But, that's an example of how, while I still have Amazon stuff going on, I ended up going in one of those support industries outside of it. And there's just unbounded opportunities when it comes to the Amazon universe. There really is.
Okay, amazing. So I think that now that we understood that we have a wonderful subject tonight, it's a good time to share your presentation.
Okay. Yeah, and I realized I didn't say what I was going to talk about, so there's a lot of fluff there. I didn't even talk about that, so that's pretty cool.
I told you before, it's great that you love to talk. That means that me and Gilad don't gonna work very hard tonight.
You leave it to me.
Okay, thank you. It's yours.
Okay. Yeah, by the end of this, people will be like, Shane, shut up.
No, don't trust us. It's gonna be interesting, and we see many people in our broadcast. And of course, dear viewers, you can ask questions, and we will forward those questions to Shane every few minutes.
Yeah, and just so you know, I mean, I really like to leave the questions to the end. I think that'd be best, and I'm happy to answer whatever you want for as long as you want at the end. That'd probably be best, because I had to really, we're taking a very high level overview of this presentation on sort of 3 very broad topics, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. So
we'll summarize it for you, and we can see it in the group wherever there are questions. We'll summarize them after.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. So I'll share my screen then, and we're good to go.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay, I can see your screen now. Everybody can see it. Okay, we're ready to start.
Cool. All right. Oh, good. You don't see my face either, so you just see the screen.
No, we still see your face.
I can't.
Don't get naked yet.
Okay, I won't pick my nose or anything. All right. Okay, so yeah, I created this. I took from some other stuff I was doing. I created this presentation just for you guys, and I wanted to keep a very broad overview, and there's sort of 3 main topics I'm going into, but I want you guys to understand something right off the top. We've been doing this a long time, and we developed certain products and tools and services to basically do what we wanted to do on Amazon that we started offering to clients. This is not a pitch fest. This is not me trying to sell you stuff. I'm going to be talking about how our tools work, but everything that I'm going to show you and talk about, you can either A, do yourself, B, hire someone else to do. You don't have to use me, but if I was to go into each topic and say, here's how you do it, it would take hours and hours and hours, and that's not something we have to do. I'm going to have to blast through this pretty quick as it is to get through it, but I wanted to give you guys sort of a high-level overview, and afterwards, again, we'll ask any questions you want. I'm perfectly happy to answer that. even if that's empowering you to do it on your own. So anyways, all right. So who am I? I talked a little bit about it. Can you see my mouse, by the way, guys? I'm moving around.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I like to use the mouse. So here's this good look. I look kind of angelic there, don't I? Anyways, I'm the co-owner of prREACH with my partner Norm. It's great. I also have this little site, holistikincomeflow.com. I've had for years, and I basically just sits there. I do some Amazon coaching, branding, that type of stuff. Amazon seller for many years. We do Amazon managed services, obviously press releases, video content. We're fairly aggressive with Amazon posts. We've been extremely successful with that. And that's something I'd love to talk about on another show because very few people do it properly. Posts and live, actually. We're involved heavily in sourcing, logistics, supply chain stuff. We do managed launches. We have lifestyle photography network. We do journalist outreach, influencer management, and of course, public relations and earned media. So today, these are the three things I'm talking about. Amazon launch and rank, and the way we do it, and the service we provide, and our philosophy on it. Expanding beyond Amazon, again, how we do it, and then really building power brand. Now, I recognize that on this call, not everyone is doing, $250,000 a month on Amazon. Some of you might just be starting out. And the typical way people go about this e-com business is they get started on Amazon because it's a bit easier. The traffic's there, they build it, and then they scale. So this might, all these topics might not be applicable to everyone. It really just depends where you are on your e-com journey. But the Amazon launch and rank is absolutely something that people can do from day one. And in fact, even the expanding beyond Amazon is something that I started doing from day one when I started back in 2013. So what's this going to do for you? Well, on the launch and rank side, we're talking about effective, cost-efficient, sticky launch and rank campaigns. And by sticky, I mean your keyword stick better, building that Amazon foundation. And then we're going to expand beyond Amazon. We're going to start to set our sights outside, building that brand presence, your search engine results, and building some authority, okay? And then the last thing is driving traffic and sales from Google and from high traffic placements. It's going to increase your multiples. So, you go to sell your business, it's going to be worth a heck of a lot more than if you're just an Amazon brand only. Now, this is kind of a crude version of our pillars to Amazon and how we run our Amazon businesses and for clients. PPC, pillar one, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. Some people can launch just on PPC. Not many people I know have the skill to do that, just PPC, but some people can. Rebates and press releases in conjunction. Yep. Amazon posts and live. I should have live there as well. That's the other pillar. And then we start to move into the brand building side. And you can see we start to shift our attention outside of Amazon over here. And this is where we're talking about consistently distributed content, using messenger bots to start to really build a solid audience of actual true loyal brand people, not people you're giving stuff away to, but true loyal brand members, influencer marketing, public relations, and earned media. So what I'll be talking about today is right here, this one pillar, rebates and press releases. I'll be talking about consistently distributed content, and I'll be talking about public relations and earned media. And I realized after I made this presentation, I thought, that's way too much to talk about. There's nothing I could do because I already said I'd talk about it. So I'm going to go fast. So you're stuck with me. So first things first, Amazon launch and rank. We've been doing this a long time. Man, I remember back in the day, we were using, coupon clubs and, there's giveaways, and Amazon had a giveaway tool in their back end, and discount groups and 90% off coupons and blah, 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 and all kinds of stuff. It's coming and going. It's calmed down. But right now, full price rebates continue to work very, very well for the most part. Now, full price rebates aren't the only thing we do as part of our launch, but they are one of the pillars of our launch. So we will always have these incorporated into the other things we're doing with our launches. And the nice thing about full price rebates is that anyone can use them. You could be a brand new first day on Amazon, and you can go to some rebate company and start doing rebates the next day. Guys, does everyone know what rebates are, full price rebates? Do you think we're okay with that, or should I explain that?
No, I think that everybody knows what is.
Okay, great. All right, so
if you need some explanation, you can write it in the comments. But I believe that most of the people understand.
Okay, yeah, it's fairly fairly well known, and I kind of categorize them into three areas. And this may not be the best terminology, but apps and services, and these are your common companies. You see, they're cheap, anywhere from $2-3, maybe $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 on the higher end. And then we've got discount clubs. Those you don't see them as much anymore. We haven't used them for probably 2 or 3 years. They used to be really common on Facebook, just discount seekers. And then what I call concierge, and that's either rebate groups, but they're vetted so that they don't have too many low quality buyers in there typically, or using things like messenger bots, Facebook ads, et cetera, higher quality, higher level, more expensive, but better. So here's the thing is when it comes to the apps and services, I mean, you got to be really careful. The funny thing is, they've been infiltrated by Amazon a long time ago. Now, when they came out, they were the cat's meow. They were fantastic. They worked great. But I mean, a 6th grader could program some AI that would pick up on the pattern of these things. They're using the same URLs, the same search find buy pattern, whatever. They've got a group of buyers with extremely low quality buyer scores. So they're not giving you a lot of ranking juice. You also get all these guys that like do the Gmail scams, right? Where they open up 100 different Gmail accounts, they scoop all your inventory. The next day you got a competitor selling your stuff against your listing. It really pisses you off. And you would never, ever in a million years want one of these guys to leave you a review, because you're going to get your account review blocked. So I haven't used one of these lower end services, cheap services. Well, certainly not this year after getting spanked from Amazon from it. So I just completely ignore that. Discount clubs, I haven't used in at least 2 or 3 years. And with the concierge side, yep, that's where you want to be. But you still got to be careful, because some of these vetted groups, even though they still work better than the other two, they still get more ranking juice and authority. They're public. If you found out about them, unless you're some kind of an insider in the Illuminati, then Amazon knows about them. And again, even with the vetted groups, a 6th grader could program AI to figure out the pattern that these guys are using to know. And now what we're doing is, even from some of these higher end vetted groups, they charge, $15, $20, $25 a rebate. We, almost without fail, when we ask one of those people to leave a review, their review blocked. Now, they're not getting our account or our ASIN review blocked. They have been blocked from the review. Again, they're public. Amazon knows about them. Of course it was going to happen, right? So we tend to play more in this side. We also have access to, with our group, and I'll explain this in a second, is private groups. Well, I'll explain that in a second. Anyways, so we do have a managed rebate service. And this is interesting. And again, this isn't a pitch. You can use us if you want. You can use someone else. But what we're doing is we combine the best. So I think it's the most powerful rebate system anywhere. It's all about diversity. We use multiple platforms. We manage it all across the board. We're using Facebook ads, messenger bots, and some private networks. And what I mean by private networks is basically guys that I know have gone out and done what a lot of the Chinese have done, where they'll create over the course of 2 or 3 years 40,000 fake Amazon accounts, all with their own unique profiles, IP login. And, for example, profile 1 will be a middle-aged woman with 3 kids, and her buying patterns will stick within that. And they've spent the time building that, and sometimes we access them. Now, I don't access them that often. Sometimes I'll do it more for products which are difficult to move on Facebook ads or messenger bots, or prohibited from being moved there. But for the most part, I stay on the social side. We can run extremely sophisticated search, find, buy, and add to cart patterns. We run about a dozen different patterns. So different ways they access your product, not just typing the same old phrase over and over like you'll get with some rebate groups. Very easy to spot. The other thing we're doing is we're blending in social signals such as Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, you name it, as well as ad signals. So we can make it look like it's coming from a Google ad or Amazon DSP. Now, typically we run at least 20% social signals as part of our campaigns, okay? Sometimes we'll do up to 50%. It just depends on the type of product we're running through. But that's how we do this. And we offer that as a service. Okay. The nice thing is no footprint. It can't be traced. We have a lot of diversity in signals, and I've always been about diversity. I remember I had a program I designed about 4 years ago. I was teaching, and I had this stupidly long spreadsheet with like 25 different traffic things on there. And it was a major pain in the butt to manage. But the whole point was diversity in signals. Even if a lot of those signals didn't result in many sales, it still was a lot of diversity built in there, and the rankings were rewarded by Amazon for it. So it's very powerful. You're going to use less rebates over time because you're going to get more ranking juice out of each one. It lays a really nice, strong foundation, and the keywords are going to stick better. So here's our launch and rank method. Obviously, we're using our networks. Okay, here we go. And again, we have multiple pillars to our launch. This is just our launch and rank method using press releases, okay? We do this in conjunction with bursts of press releases. So we're not just going out and doing a rebate campaign and then doing one press release. That's not going to do a damn thing. Don't even bother. Don't waste your money. You have to do it with bursts of press releases. People ask me, well, how many? Well, that depends on how big the campaign is, the keywords you're going after, the competitors of the product. There's a whole bunch of factors, but 4, 5, 6 on the bottom end, 8, 10, 12 is more typical. Sometimes we'll even do 20 or 30 over the course of a month or 6 weeks, just depending on the type of campaign we're running.
But you know what, Shane, before you move on to the next one, I mean, I don't know if you are going to explain about it, but maybe you could spare a moment just explaining like what press release is actually and what's, what's different and what's special about it. Yeah,
and I will do that in a minute. Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, for sure. So what we're doing is when we're running the rebates, in conjunction with the press releases, we're making sure we're using the same keywords in the rebates as with the press release. Otherwise, they've got to all pull in the same direction at the same time, right? So we're doing it at the same time, same keywords. Now, these press releases are researched, optimized, and correctly formatted and have proper linking. Now, I don't have time to get into how to do all this because that would take a couple hours. There's a ton of resources out there. In fact, I think we have some free resources on our website. I'll have to confirm. I'm sure we do, but we can talk about that later. But the point is I'm not going out to Fivers, paying some guy $5 to do a press release that's, got really nothing to do with my rebates. It's all tied in together. Okay. Why press releases? They're misunderstood and they're underutilized, plain and simple. Now, there used to be some hacks. People were like, oh yeah, I used to use press releases all the time and they stopped working. Well, that's not true. They actually never stopped working. And we don't have time to talk about it right now, but maybe in the Q&A, if you want to talk about how those hacks used to work, I'll explain how that happened. But Google loves content more than ever. We know Google's all about high quality content, right? You're getting national exposure for next to nothing, practically, right? Super effective for Amazon ranking, and it's effective for Google ranking. And it lays the foundation for, and it can accelerate other content distribution. And that's a really cool thing. We can use press releases to accelerate blog articles, for example, and push up blog articles. And if you've written a really good blog article, that can stay there for years and years, and that can be your traffic driver to Amazon. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But what is a press release? As Gilad said, thank you very much. It's simple. I mean, it's just a piece of written communication talking about whatever you want to talk about, and it goes out to media and journalists through a variety of means. And a variety of means typically a distribution network. Now, we have other ways of moving press releases out too, but for your average person, or if you said, hey, I don't want to deal with the Shane guy, I'm going to deal with somebody else, they're going to talk about their distribution network, and that's just fine. Now, contrary to popular belief, press releases in the context of an Amazon launch are used for backlinks. Okay, an A10 algorithm just recently confirmed that it looks for high authority backlinks. We knew this all along because we've seen the results for years, but now they've confirmed it, and that's really cool. Now, these links in a press release are going straight to your product detail page on Amazon. That's the way we do it. It gives our rankings a little boost, so it helps that keyword acceleration along with the rebates, helps them to stick a little bit longer. Plus, you get a little bit of residual branding authority. Okay, so if you've got, Joe Blow Company is the name of your business, nobody's ever heard of it. They're on Amazon, they're looking for your product, they find it. A lot of times they're going to go over to Google and they'll be like, oh, what's this Joe Blow Company? I'm like, oh, that's cool. They got a website. Oh, they got press releases. Oh, geez, they're legitimate. They're not just some, here today, gone tomorrow, one of a million Amazon nameless brands, right? It gives you some authority and some weight, because a lot of people do check on Google. And I think, and I probably mentioned it down the road, but about 40% of the traffic coming into Amazon is coming from search engines, right? Not everybody starts their search on Amazon. Only about 60% do. So it's important. People think that they're going to come in and say, hey, I want to do a press release. What can I expect it to do to blow up my business? I don't know, nothing. Like one press release isn't going to do a damn thing. They're not big traffic drivers. Now, you will get some amount of traffic from them. There's a caveat here, though. Okay, again, I'm talking more about the Amazon launch and rank technique. Okay, if you've got something very newsworthy, you just signed a deal with Nike, you're going to be in Walmart stores, or I mean, you're an Amazon partner. I don't know, like something pretty newsworthy that I mean, it doesn't have to be that big, but something fairly important. We're going to push that out on one of our premium networks, and that's going to get your news in front of journalists, influencers, editors, all that type of stuff, and that is when a PR can absolutely blow up your business. But your day in, day out press release, done consistently over time, because that's how they really need to be done, is done primarily for those backlinks. Okay, and it also does come down to the type of PR. We offer different types of press release and distribution networks, and many other companies do too. And we're going to try and use those appropriately for whatever your goal is for your type of business. I mean, if you're a dentist in Paris, France, well, we're probably going to be using, well, okay, not Paris because we only publish in English, but a dentist in London, then we're going to be using a different type of press release than we would if you are an online service provider who just signed a deal with Nike. We're going to use different tools for that. Okay, so we've got managed rebates and we have managed launches. Okay, we're the only ones I know who do managed rebates across multiple networks, and very simply, that's just like any other rebate service. You're going to come to us and you're going to provide keywords, a number of units, that type of stuff, and we're going to push it out through our network. A managed launch is basically a concierge service where it's done for you. We're going to do the keyword research. We do a listing audit, and we build out customized campaigns. And we're usually incorporating press releases into those launches. So we offer those two things. And again, this isn't a sales thing. This is just what we do and how we do it. Now, that is really all, at a high level, all you need to know about the launch and rank. We're doing the full price rebates. We've got our PPC turned on. We're adding multiple press releases in at the same time we're doing the launch, using the same keywords, all linking directly to your Amazon product detail page. That, in a nutshell, is what we're doing, and we see great results time and day. I don't think we have done a launch not doing that since about 2016, except for when we do some tests. The second thing I just want to quickly talk about here and how important this is, especially for new sellers, is maintenance after a launch. And I think this is just as important as doing the launch itself. And I see people fail all the time because they have this pattern where maybe they do some type of a launch, whatever type you're doing, and maybe you get some great results. Hey, you shoot up the top of page one. Wonderful. You turn the launch off and you crash back down. Then you hit it again, you go up and down. That drastic up-down pattern, Amazon doesn't like that anymore. You can only get away with a few of those up-downs before the ups don't start happening very much anymore, and they'll start to suppress your listing. So it's very, very important after you launch to maintain that listing. So we never view launching as just a one-and-done event, okay? Competition is just going to be biting at your heels, especially if it's a new listing. You don't have a conversion rate because you've only got 6 reviews or something, and your competitor's got 600. Maintenance has to be performed to some degree until the listing can hold its own organically. And that's the point of the maintenance. So, okay, let's say we got you up in the number 3 position and you're super happy and you're getting 12 organic sales a day or whatever is appropriate for that keyword. It's important that we keep it pinned there or not let it fall down. Or if it does fall down a bit gently, we just push it back up. And that's what the maintenance campaign does. And we do that as well, but you can do that yourself. And the other thing is, no two campaigns are alike. Okay, even if I launch 2 products, which I've launched many times before, like I don't know how many times I've launched those massage guns, for example. I mean, there's so many products I've launched many times. Every campaign is different. I don't know what your back end is like, what your keywords like. Is your listing images are going to convert better? Your bullets, your title, like we help with that type of stuff, but competition changes, the time of year, your price points. There's just so many factors, right? So that's why no two campaigns are ever alike. That's why we basically create customized campaign. And we remain very, very flexible. We always let the data tell us what to do. So I'd rather come into a campaign and fall short on the first campaign than kill it on the first campaign. And the reason why, when you kill it in the first campaign, sometimes it looks unnatural. And I think that I wasted too many units. I'm cheap. I'm really cheap. I'm a brand owner. I don't like to give away units if I don't have to. So I'd rather fall short. And hey, you know what? Instead of on page 1, I only got to the top of page 2. Or I got to the bottom of page 1. That's fine. Great. My next campaign, I know exactly what I need to keep pushing it up. And as I'm doing that, I'm getting more reviews. I'm building it. It makes it look much, much more natural. So I think that beat that one to death. But I just, that maintenance part is so, so important. And especially now, Amazon's punishing that up and down pattern. So now it's here where we're going to transition. We need to start turning our attention and starting to look beyond Amazon and what that landscape looks like. Because at the end of the day, Amazon's easy. Okay, Amazon's the easy part. Yeah, I know there's hard things about it. But in the big picture, it's the easy part. All the pieces are there for anyone to succeed. Okay, and you're playing in a confined system, so you can only do certain actions. So this is what usually happens. People establish their Amazon presence. And I think this is a great way to go. You develop your base of sales, you get some revenue, you get some reviews, you start to, hey, you know, I just hit 10K a month or 5K or 25K or 100 or whatever that number is for you. Great. You know, you're starting to really build that base of sales. Okay. But as we know, Amazon isn't perfect, to put it lightly. Can be very frustrating sometimes. AI, can crawl your listing, get you suspended. Like all kinds of stuff can happen, including increasing costs. And, that's to be expected because no platform's perfect. And you're going to have problems no matter where you go. We've got to roll with the punches. But staying on Amazon alone is a risk. And I think we saw that this spring with all the COVID BS that happened. People were having their business ruined practically overnight. A lot of people made a killing on it. Of course, but a lot of people, especially if you're in the travel accessories, you got beat pretty bad. Now that wasn't Amazon's fault, but Amazon took down a lot of legitimate sellers. Their AI crawled their listing and said, no, you can't sell that kind of a mask. And they're like, I don't sell masks. I sell computer accessories. What are you talking about? But no, they weren't going to listen to you. And they were down for 6 weeks. These people have 30 employees. It pisses you off. But with a beast as large as Amazon, you have to expect that. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and it's bureaucratic and it's frustrating. So staying on Amazon alone is a risk, and the business is never truly yours. It's Amazon's, and so are your customers. They're actually Amazon's customers. They can turn you off right now or tomorrow. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. So it's important to diversify. And the solution's bloody simple. You got to stop being yet another nameless Amazon brand and become a brand that also just happens to sell on Amazon. Great, wonderful, right? You got to diversify. So you got to start leveraging other platforms. You got to expand into new markets. You got to build your website, on Shopify, whatever you're doing. You have to build your own list. The power is still always in the list, always has been, always will be. But this is where everyone fails. In the case of your own site, you're now responsible for your own traffic. And that is a completely different game altogether, right? And it's hard. And here's a typical pattern. People, they're building up their Amazon business and think, oh my gosh, I got to diversify. So they start a Shopify store and the sales just trickle in. They get a few orders a month or whatever. And eventually they have to go back and focus on Amazon because that's their bread and butter. And I can't blame them because they're playing in a completely different game. So what I want to do is I want to lubricate that entry. I want to make it a lot easier to move on to other platforms and to move into other marketplaces. And that's what brand building does for you, okay? And if you go onto other platforms, you go onto Walmart or eBay or wherever you happen to be selling, if it's an online platform, you're starting from scratch, just like we do with Amazon. You got to learn that platform. You're starting from nowhere. You don't have any brand weight to carry with you. It's a tough gig, right? So to do this, you just got to build your brand and your authority. And it doesn't take as long as you'd think. It can take a while if you want it to, but you can do it pretty darn fast too. There's a lot of benefits. There are so many benefits to doing this. I listed out probably about 20 here. I mean, start ranking on Google. Okay, wonderful. That's going to give you all kinds of good love. And again, that Google thing, a lot of people go on to Amazon, they Google the brand name just to see what's going on, right? You know, are these guys legit? I'm not even talking about traffic coming in from Google, okay? But it allows you to speak directly to your ideal customer in their voice, okay? You're using your own voice. You're not going through the Amazon channel. You can launch new products a heck of a lot easier and scale a lot faster. You can conduct product and market research because you've got a growing list, you know what I mean? Help you launch products faster, improve them. You have product differentiation, okay? You can more easily obtain reviews. You become an authority and a market leader in your niche. It's easy to get social proof because you've got so many followers. You have a competitive advantage now. You can attract more investors, easily expand into new marketplaces. You have higher conversion rates. You can charge higher prices. You can protect to some degree against economic change and price undercutting. And here's the lovely one, easier exits and increased multiples if you sell your business. You know, most people I know who get into this business have this, you know, hey, you know, in 5 years, I want to sell it for $1 million or, you know, 10 million or 500,000 or whatever that number is for you. This makes it a lot easier and your multiples go through the roof. If you have a nice steady income off of Amazon, if you built a really solid list that's engaged of loyal fans, that increases your multiples. So it's just a smart thing to do overall. All right, so here's how we do it. And these are sort of the three, I'll say products. I mean, these two are sort of products, but you can get these from anyone. And again, you know, I'm not trying to sell you these. I'm saying this is what we do and this is what we developed for ourselves and then we offer to our clients. But press release is sort of the starting point. Okay, you can do this from day one in Amazon business or when you're ready to start expanding. But press releases are, you know, again, all about the backlinks, right? Slowly building some Google presence, and that's, you know, authority plus Google rankings. You will start to build rankings over time, even if you're just doing, you know, one little press release a month inexpensively. That's fine. You can do that. That's a great place to start. You're consistently building that authority. Then we move over to the brand builder, and that's basically our done for you content system, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And this is what you have to focus on. You have to focus on high quality. You have to be consistent. We back it up with the power of press releases with all the other content, which I'll explain. We use a variety of multimedia, just giving Google what they want, right? And we're blasting out through a distribution network. The distribution network is the one thing you guys will have a problem with doing it on your own for all content pieces. But for the press releases, you can use another company and get that distribution network for sure. But I'll talk more about that in a second. And the third thing is when we move into public relations and earned media. And that is where we basically keep brands on the top of the news cycle. Everywhere you turn, they are showing up in news, in magazines, websites, television, radio, I mean, you name it, podcasts. You start to become a power brand and you build that raving audience. Now, typically, this is when you're starting to really develop. Hey, you're hitting 50K a month, 100K a month, you know, whatever that number is. It's like, okay, now we need to expand. We need to start to really build up our online presence. We may want to, you know, maybe you're thinking of getting into Costco or, you know, other retail stores, for example. This is how you can really accelerate that. We start here to build up SERP. You know, this is all about search engine ranking results, and this is starting to build mega power authority. All right. What we're doing is no secret. Google loves good content, and they're going to reward you for it. We know this. We see it day in, day out. It's not a secret. What we're talking about at a basic level, going back to those three things I just showed you, starting with press releases, consistency. Consistency is absolute key. You can't just do one press release and then 6 months later do another press release. I mean, it's not going to do anything for you. You know, it will give you a little bit of authority. If someone Googles you, fine. Yeah, wonderful. But in terms of starting to build authority and build that Amazon or Google presence, it's not going to do a damn thing. Okay. And then people always get stressed out. They're like, well, Shane, oh man, I can't publish 1 or 2 press releases a month. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. Ridiculous. You know, there's a million things you can talk about. We typically write for most of our clients. Some people prefer to write their own, and that's fine. Talk about the features of your product, the benefits, maybe research you had paid done, ingredients if you sell like a supplement. Maybe you got something that has, I don't know, turmeric in it or something. You can talk about the health benefits of turmeric. I mean, There's a million things. Events you're attending, trade shows, current events that might be related somehow to your product, maybe a sporting event if you're in the sporting goods category. I don't know. There's a million things you can do. And there's a funny story. Norm, my partner, about 3 years back, he took over the branding for a company, and they sold a toe wart remover. So, ugly images of these gross toe warts and stuff. And he redid their branding and their packaging and everything, which, gave a huge boost. And then for about a year, I think he did about 8 press releases a month for them. 8 press releases a month on toe wart remover. If he can think of 8 things a month to talk about for press release for toe wart remover, I'm pretty sure we can figure out something to talk about for your product. So that's never a problem. I know a lot of people get stressed about this. They think, oh, I've got a new product launch, I can talk about that. Sure. But there's a lot of things we can talk about. But the other thing I want to tell you guys is, if you get a press release done, and I'm going to show you an example of this in just a second here, share it. If you go out there and you pay a company to do a press release for you, don't just walk away. Use it. You paid for it. You know what I mean? Add it to your website, your social media, in the news. You will start to have search ranking results if you consistently keep at it and keep at it. And we've got packages starting from $79. Cheap. There's other people, doing the same thing, same prices. So it's not like this big monetary commitment to get started. And if you can put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a month, whatever your budget can afford, different types of press releases, then that it's just going to give you a huge boost in your authority and your SERP results. And eventually, you can start to dominate some keywords on Google doing this. And I'll show you some cool examples in a minute. So here's what I'm talking about, leveraging your PR. So we've got this guy, Dr. Kevin Fleming. He's just a super guy. He's a psychologist. Here's one of the press releases we did for him. This was a video press release we did for him. Okay, here's his press release. He puts it into his newsletter. Cool. He's got a link right in there. Wonderful. He shares it across all his social media channels, and then he boosts some of them sometimes. Sometimes he'll turn them into ads. Then he's got, he's doing blogs, right? Then he ties them into his blog. So he might have his blog link to one of the PR publishing sites. So if you got published on, ABC, whatever, or the Washington Post, or wherever we happen to get you published, he'll link to it. And sometimes what we're also doing, what I talked about earlier, is when we do a press release, we'll link to one of your blog articles, and we can help rank your blog article on Google. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can do them. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you do a press release, you paid for it, leverage it, keep using it, squeeze every drop of juice out of it that you can. Anything that happens, if you've got some big news, do a press release, blog about it, share it. The one. Yeah.
The press release itself, where is it published?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I'm going to show you some examples of where they're published in a minute.
So I was wondering if you're going to see some case studies, so it's perfect.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. I'm going to show you some in a minute, and there's something else I want to mention, but it doesn't matter. I'll cover it up ahead. But I'm going to show you some interesting results in some different formats in some different ways. Now, this was a search. This was recorded last summer. Okay, and now this is a dog company. They sell on Amazon. They sell bully sticks, those dog chew treats, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we've been working with this brand for years. We typed in a keyword. I can't remember what the keyword phrase was for this. I apologize. We owned every single spot except this spot and this spot on page 1 of Google. Page 1, every single spot, just because he did consistent press. And these weren't even high-level press releases. These are just the standard lower-level press releases, but he just did it month after month after month after month. And again, 40% of traffic comes to Amazon from search engine results. Okay, here's another one, same company, and this was the health benefits of bully sticks was the keyword phrase we typed in. We originally published this on June 11th, 2018. Here it is. Here's the original press release. 1 year later, well, just over a year later, we typed in the same result. We had every single listing, including 3 images and 2 videos a year later from doing this, just because we kept at it consistently. Now, again, don't expect this overnight. We've been working with this company for a long time, and they just every single month just doop, 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 just kept it going out, kept it going out, kept it going out. And Google rewarded them because Google just sees high quality press releases. They see nice, no spammy backlinks or linking. They just see really good quality content, and they will reward you for it. Ideally, we want to start to blend in other types of content in their blogs and videos and all types of stuff, but press releases always remain at the core. Now, we've got different types of press releases for different jobs, and so do other companies. We happen to have 3 levels of distribution, all right? We've got what we call the news buzz, and that's if you come to me and you say, hey, Shane, I want to do a product launch, and we decide we're going to do press releases along with it. I would say, yeah, let's hit with 10 press releases. We're probably going to be using this lower level one because we need to use 10, right? And it'd be expensive. We use the expensive ones. And this is the bulk of the Amazon ranking stuff. Again, that's steady dripping every single month. Brand building, it's very, very cost effective. Doesn't cost much at all. Then we've got a second layer where we just enhance that standard one and we push it out to Yahoo News and the Associated Press. Then we have our news dominator, and that's the highest level of distribution that we have. And that's what I'm going to talk about in a second. I'm going to talk about these distribution networks. And your question about, hey, where do these press releases go? Well, they go to these distribution networks, and that is mostly news channels, not always, that will publish your press release. So I take your press release, hey, XYZ company launches this new product, boom, it goes out to, let's say 300, 400, 500 different outlets. ABC, Wichita, Kansas, NBC, Miami.
About just sites that were opened for that goal. It's actually news
yes.
portal. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be like an ABC, NBC. It'll be the Boston Herald, the Miami Globe, like newspapers, those types of things, and other types of distribution, other types of channels which are on those distribution networks. But they're all high authority sites. So the backlinks you're getting are high authority backlinks. They're not garbage backlinks, right? And just one little thing, one little caveat I want to mention here. So you can go to Fiverr and you can get some clown to do a $5 press release and distribution for you, or you can get maybe even for free. Well, all they're doing is they're going to send your PR out to a link farm, and you may as well shoot yourself in the face because that's going to hurt your listing a lot more than help it, because you're just going to be getting a whole bunch of junk backlinks coming into your listing. So no matter what company you go with, if you're generally paying, less than $50, even $100, I'd say, just be careful. You got to make sure the distribution network is a quality one. Okay. And I don't know. The only way I know how to ensure that is the price, because, they're going to tell you that they're the best, but who knows, right? So what? Yeah, go ahead.
Responsible for publishing the press release, or
yes.
or to create the content as well?
Yeah, we do both. I mean, we do probably about 80 to 90% of the people we deal with want us to write it for them. But we still have, some people who still prefer to write their own, and that's fine. And then we just push it out to a distribution network, whatever distribution network is appropriate. Yep. So we basically handle it all. And then at the end, and you're going to see in a minute, we give you distribution reports we're going to show you exactly where you're published. And we're going to, we actually added a bunch of other stuff that nobody else does, including keyword tracking and a bunch of other things, which I'll show you in a second. But now we're talking about, okay, we've got these different levels of press releases, including this premium level, which we call the news dominator. Well, what makes that different? And this is what makes this so powerful, is we're going to target industry-specific niches, okay? So it's not just going out to anyone. We're targeting your industry. So if you sell a beauty product, we're going to target that niche. We've got a database of nearly 2 million contacts, and that's journalists, editors, bloggers, reporters, trade magazines, all that type of stuff. Goes out in the highest authority network available, and the SERP ranking results have been absolutely incredible. And let me show you a couple of things. Now, this first case study, I think I'd shown this to you before. And George, we've got a friend, George Marisa. He runs he has an Amazon DSP agency called Clear Ads. He's in London. He's probably one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet in your life. But we started him on these premium distribution network PRs. And these are all his screenshots he sent to me. So right away, under the news, he started to outrank Google itself, Amazon itself for Amazon DSP. Here he is right here. Now, this is one of our media partners who picked this up and pushed it to the top. And that was pretty cool. He was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I was like, yeah, great. Then he sent me this screenshot. Now he's got his own SEO guy, and they have, he X'd out all his terms he ranks for. He doesn't want his competitors to know what terms he's going after on Google ads and stuff. But we started in March. Advertising on Amazon, he was number 27. Less than a month later, we pushed him to number 7 after one blast out. He couldn't freaking believe it. He phoned me. He was in hysterics. It changed his business. He got a ton of business because of it. In fact, he got a partnership offer from Amazon DSP because of this. And here we can see, remember when I said we can use PRs to push up blog contents? Well, George has a very good blog writer. So what we started to do was we started to link the PRs to his blog, and we managed to push up this. Number 3, advertising on Amazon is his blog after 1 month. Now, are these results going to happen for everyone every time? No, but I'm still shocked at what great results. And I've got more stuff to show you in a bit. Here's another one. Amazon DSP got him the top 2 spots right there. Fantastic. I mean, pound for pound, you're not going to get a better bang for your buck, okay? And where else can you get this level of potential exposure for less money each month? Now, that example I showed you was the premium press release, which is more expensive. We're retailing that for around $800 right now. But still, to get media placements through traditional media channels would cost you thousands and thousands per month to do that. And it's not going to guarantee it's going to push you up the rankings, right? And we're talking about blending press releases with content. So if you remember, we had that slide back there. We had press releases, and then I had the content, brand builder, and then we, yep.
Maybe before we're going on, it's a good time to summarize a few questions.
Sure.
Okay. So let's go back. Okay. I see a question of Miras. We were talking about keyword ranking. So he asked, how do you know which keywords to rank and how many units you give away? So I don't remember to what subject it was related, but maybe it's just a general question that you can answer.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be an Amazon launch rank question because he's probably talking about the rebates, and that's a very good question. So we actually have, we have our own proprietary research model, but we take a look at, first of all, if you came to me and you said, hey, Shay, I want to launch my new product. It's a blue pen. Okay, cool. This is how aggressive I am. I've got, 500 units of inventory I'm willing to use, or 5,000 or whatever that number is. This is my budget. we're going to ask certain questions like, okay, the brand new product, what's your conversion rate? Do you have any reviews yet? What keywords are you already ranking for? We're going to start tracking that. How aggressive do you want to be? We're going to take a look at your competition to understand the support and resistance. Then what we do is we will do our keyword research, and I'm going to look at, typical things like search volume. We're going to look at conversion rates for keywords, and I'll build out a campaign. And using different software tools, I'm going to get an estimate of how many units per day I need to move over certain periods of time. Now, I usually when I build campaigns, let's say the first phase is 4 weeks long, I might have a build-up week, and then hitting it hard for roughly 2 weeks, and then backing off a little bit for a week. That'd be a typical pattern I might run. So those units I'm going to spend during that period of time are going to fluctuate. It's based on software estimates, and it's also based on experience. Now, if you remember earlier, I said I prefer to hit things lightly to begin with, because sometimes I'm shocked at the results we'll get. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had great results, and I hit it with like a third of what everyone else is hitting it with. Great. Because I'm cheap and I don't like to waste units when I don't have to. If I rise up the rankings too fast, I'm a little bit miffed with myself that I wasted units of money when I didn't have to. And again, I think it looks more natural. So we have a proprietary formula we plug into our system that spits out the number. But you can use a myriad of software out there now that'll give you estimate giveaways. The one thing I need to caution you right now is very interesting. I've had this conversation about 5 times in the last week. Is people are saying, Shane, we've got huge discrepancies between software platforms. And I don't know if you guys have been talking about that or that, But let's say you're using, you know, a Helium 10 or something, okay, very popular platform, and you're looking at their Cerebro number, or their giveaway number, and their search volume. You go use another tool, it's literally double or half. Well, how can that be? That never used to be the case. Everything has been thrown out of whack, and I'm not sure why. There's some theories floating around out there, but just use whatever tool you're using. And if you come up short, you just got to hit it harder. That's why our strategy is always flexible. Again, I like to hit it light to begin with, get an idea of what I'm facing with, and then bam, hit it a little bit harder. So I know that doesn't give an exact answer of how I determine the number of units, but we use our proprietary method, and sometimes we'll use comparison between different tools.
Okay, thank you. And
I have another question here, Igor, about the backlinks. I mean, when you're making a press release, usually the best effective way is to have a backlink to the product itself, or to the store, or to a certain keyword. I mean, what is the best? What is the most effective one? And the second question was, I mean, okay, you're using it in order to launch a new product. Now, it takes time to Google to spot this press release and to start, you know, advancing you on the keywords. And if it takes so much time, or I mean, how much time does it take? Then you're going to lose the entire launching period, isn't it?
Yeah, good question. So the first one is, so we used to use multiple links in press releases, because in our press release, we allow you to use up to 3 links. We never use, I shouldn't say, occasionally we might use 3 links, but most of the time we use 1 or 2. You know, on really big campaign, we might use none. Google sees the correlation. Most of the keyword power from a press release, and this is the dirty little secret, comes from the title. Okay. When we use a backlink, it's always the very first link in the very first paragraph, and it's going directly to your Amazon product detail page, not to your storefront. We used to use, sometimes we use different URLs in there, different keyword URLs, and sometimes we'll throw one in there, but for the most part, we've gotten away from that. We'll usually use just a straight, like Amazon.com DP /ASIN link, or canonical link. We never use 2-step URLs or super URLs or anything like that anymore in press releases, because Google doesn't look so favorable. We want to look like a really nice, clean piece of content. No shenanigans going on as far as Google's concerned. Okay. And we see, you'll start to rank within 24 hours after a press release goes out. Here's a funny little story. I remember about 2016, 2017, I had this brand. It was a home goods brand. We had a shipment delayed in customs for a couple of weeks. And it was on its way. It was in our warehouse in Chicago, but everything was thrown off. I remember when I said used to make this stupid long spreadsheet with all these different driving sources, Twitter ads and everything you could think of, and group, coupon clubs and blah, 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 blah. One of the things we had in there was press releases at the same time. But because the shipment was delayed, everything got canceled. And I happened to go on to Amazon that morning. I typed in the brand name or something, and I saw this new product we had. And we were ranking like sub 100, like we're number 53 in a home category. I was like, holy crap, we're killing it. Fantastic. And I Skyped my ops manager and I said, oh man, you did a fantastic job. What did you do? And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, this product's like number 53. Like, you guys knocked it. She's like, it's just left the warehouse yesterday. It hasn't even arrived at FBA. I'm like, what? So I went and looked, and sure enough, I look and it says, it's available in like 7 days, or whatever they said. I was like, whoa, okay, there must have been a whole bunch of pre-orders. And I look on the orders. Nope, not one. Not one. It's like, what the hell happened? BSR is a function of sales velocity, right? Largely, or so we're told. Huh. Well, the only thing that happened was all that campaign, we forgot to cancel the press release. It shot it up. Now, when I originally talked to Norm, my partner in prREACH with this, he's like, I know. He goes, I see this all the time, but it doesn't happen every single time. I can't emulate it. So we can't sell this. I can't say, hey, just to do a press release, you're going to shoot up. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time. We don't know how to emulate it. There's so many factors involved, but we do know that it aids in keyword velocity and stickiness. And that was, we've got those types of examples where that happened. Of course, we can't lean on that, but within 24 hours, the effect, the backlink going to Amazon. And again, Amazon just published information about A10 about 3 weeks ago, and they confirmed in there high authority backlinks are something they evaluate as part of the algorithm.
Okay, guys, I have a question here of my friend Neil. It's actually a few questions in one, so it's very interesting what he's asking here. First of all, how long does it take to Google to update the ranking? So, and he believes it's not short. So, how does it help us to during the launch? And the last question in the same subject: how do you connect it to Amazon? Like, what the link is contained?
Yeah, well, so it does affect your well, just like the example I said, we put out a press release, and the next day a listing that wasn't even live was ranked sub 100 BSR, which doesn't seem possible. It just shows you that the A10 algorithm does.
In the most cases, like, what is the term until it's starting to be effective?
Instantly, like it's 24 hours. Like, we usually send the report out 72 hours later to let all the channels pick up the press release, because not everybody publishes it, in the same hour. For example, it might be spread out over a day or two, but usually within a few days you'll start to see those results. I mean, it's not oftentimes what we'll do is when we do a launch rank campaign, I'll prime the pump. So maybe 2 or 3 days before your campaign starts, your rebate campaign, I'll put out a press release, or I'll do a boosted, like one of our maybe a mid-level press release to prime the pump, to get the backlinks flowing, and then start hitting it with rebates and press releases during that first couple of weeks really hard. That's the way we do it. It's tough. It's tough to measure the ROI on it, I got to admit. And the only reason why we really know this works is because we've done so many hundreds and hundreds of product launches. It's hard to compare apples to apples, because we could be selling the same product, do the exact same launch procedure, and we're going to have different results, different images, different title, different back end. There's a lot of different factors involved. So, how many reviews, your conversion rate. I mean, there's so much going on. But again, time in, time out. And we know that Google loves content. We know A10 likes the high quality backlinks. And I forgot your second question. I apologize.
Actually, I think that Gilad asked actually the same question. So I think that we got the answer. Correct, Gilad? Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty much the two people asking pretty much the same area of questions. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and again, after the presentation, we want to talk more about this stuff. We absolutely can. Yeah. Okay. So are we good to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So now we're sort of talking about. So we talked about sort of, hey, starting to get just using some press releases, not even necessarily as part of a launch, just to build up your brand authority off of Amazon. Start to get you a little bit of Google love. Wonderful, wonderful. It's not expensive. It's a way to start expanding that reach. Okay, sort of greasing up the pole a little bit before you start to move off of Amazon, and increasing the traffic coming in from off of Amazon. Again, 40% of traffic is coming from search engines, right? So now we're starting to blend press releases with content, and this is really what we call our brand builder product, right? And that's where we've got our premium press releases. We have high quality videos. We create blogs. We do vlogs. We do a whole bunch of other multimedia. We put it out regular, consistent blasts through a distribution network. Now, all this stuff you can do yourself, man. You can do it yourself. You can get videos made. You can hire some guy at Fiverr. You can get blogs, blah, blah, blah. You can do all this stuff. You can hire anyone to the premium PRs. You would have trouble pushing out to a distribution network, all these other things, but to some degree you could, and it would work. It would take longer the way we do it, but you could do it yourself. But again, this is all we're doing here. We're just giving Google what it wants. We're giving high quality content. We're giving it a lot of different multimedia formats. We just happen to be able to push it out to a nice distribution network. Okay. Google loves content. They're going to reward it for you. We know you're going to get rewarded for it. It's important to make sure it's high quality. So your writing's got to be good. No keyword stuffing, no spammy links, no, hey, this month only save 20%. That's not what this is for. This is for building quality content. We're striking from all angles, multimedia formats. And again, we're able to put it on a distribution network. And you could do that a limited amount yourself. We can talk about that later if you want. And this is the product that we call Brand Builder. It's just sort of done for you monthly content system. And this is what we moved George to. So remember I showed you the results from his premium press releases we were doing, those news dominator press releases. And he's like, how can I accelerate this? I'm like, okay, let's move you into brand builder and accelerate it. It did. And these, and earlier, you were asking about where it gets distributed. So here's a distribution report. So I'm going to show you some different ones. Now this is the News Buzz Pro. This is the mid-range one. Okay, it doesn't have as much. Actually, the low-range one, or News Buzz, has the largest distribution network. We usually get you published in 400 to 500, and this is what you're going to get from us. This is pages and pages and pages of all these publishing companies. Okay, and you can see, I mean, Boston Herald, I mean, all these different news. And this is where it's going. And as part of this report, we're going to give you, here's how many full page placements you got. Here's the potential audience reach, blah, 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 blah. We're going to give you all that stuff. But what we're also doing, and this is my problem, when I started using press releases myself, before I knew anything about them, I struggled a little bit with the ROI. I was like, well, every month I was paying, $350 or what it was to have, my 3 press releases, whatever I was paying to whatever company was at the time. How do I know this is really working for me? I mean, I don't. I really don't. I mean, I can see some results on Google a little bit. If I typed in my brand name, oh, that's cool. That's nice. I'm sure that helps. But is it really making a difference? So what we did was we started to incorporate keyword rankings. So what we do is we take every single permutation of your title. So let's say your title has 11 words in it or 9 words. We take every single permutation of that and see what ranks on Google. And this is very typical. So a lot of these keywords aren't going to make a lot of sense, right? But they're all supporting the seed keyword that's in the title. And I want to reiterate that if you're doing press releases, if you're doing them on your own, the title is 80% of the weight of your press releases. So make sure it's efficient, not using fluffy language, and contains keyword phrases or your seed keywords. Okay, it'll help you out so much. And we can see here, George ranked for 394 keywords from that title, _1 for 147. So it's like, holy crap. Okay, here's the next one. Here's the News Dominator report. I think there's here's some pages there. So we can see. This is a more enhanced report. We can see how many views and hits we had by different agencies, how many total pickups, so they got picked up by 110. Engagement actions, so we had 100 engagement actions, and the potential audience reach was over 124 million. But with this News Dominator, remember I said we've got a database of nearly 2 million influencers, reporters, journalists, trade magazines, that type of stuff? Well, we're going to send you those reports too. So here's the advertising and marketing influencer report, who it went to and how many recipients they received it. Now, this is not going to their spam box. This is going to them. Whether they choose to write about you or not or contact you is completely up to them. I have no control over that, but I will get this in front of their faces. Okay, this is an e-commerce influencer report, internet influencer report. And again, this is for George, so it's targeted to his industry. Here's a media views report. Okay. And again, we do a keyword ranking analysis on his keywords. So he is ranked for 306 keywords, #1 for 231 of them. And here's all the pages of all the #1 keywords. We take this snapshot. I don't like to take it 3 days later because I don't want to say, oh, 3 days later, you got all this stuff, and then a week later have it fall off. So we usually take this about 3 days later, but we also will shoot this about 20 days later, and this is not that much different. So they're sticking really well. So month after month, it's just killing it. But that's the PR power. Here's the other side. Because with Brand Builder, because we've got all this other content in there, videos and blogs and all this stuff, it allows us to expand the keywords we're targeting outside of the press releases. So here's, again, this is for George, okay? And here's a whole bunch of keywords that he was tracking and we were tracking. And here's his previous placement, and here's his new page placement, which was a month. I should have had the dates up here. It was March and April. Again, these are heavy terms that we're not really going after. We're making mentions. They're not necessarily our super targeted ones, but we're having some great results, okay? And that's why he just continues to do it. So let me just switch gears here and show you a case study I finished up about a week ago. And this is interesting. This is a brand called Moom. It's a men's hair remover product. I think Galad probably uses this. This is a brand new Amazon listing. Okay, had no reviews. Actually, maybe it had 2 reviews or something. And we wanted to just test to see what kind of Google love we could create overnight, and drove all the links to the Amazon product detail page. And I made a couple of mistakes here, but it was just a simple test. I mean, we're just gonna we're gonna diversify the test going forward. But with this strategy, we had a hell of a lot of keywords, way too many, more than I would I would never do this in a real campaign. Basically, we just wanted to throw it out there to see what would happen, which would define our future tests. Okay. Now, these are the keywords I targeted. There's 20 of them here, and they're all over the friggin' map. Okay. A brand new product. Again, it was kind of dumb to go after so many, but I thought, let's see what happens. So in order, let's look at all these 20 keywords. Top one is chemical-free sugar wax. When I looked at this, I fell off my chair. We had every spot on page 1. This is 1 week later. This is 1 full week after we published this. Every spot on page 1, including an image and including a direct to Amazon link. I was like, what the hell is going on? Okay. Now, I don't know all the terms are going to perform that well. I mean, okay. Some of these are longer tail. Okay. I get it. Okay. Here's the next one. Sugar hair removal for men. Completely owned to page 1 again, under the all. And then under the news category, we of course have the top 2. And so you can see a Yahoo posting here and then Associated Press. Easy to use sugar wax. These are under the news headlines. Back waxing tips for men. We got best backs, blah, 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 blah. Body sugar for, I don't need to read these. You can read them. I don't want to spend too much time here because I know we're running out of time. Again, top placements, page 1 placements. And again, I want to reiterate, this is a week later, and I did not look past page 1. I didn't care about page 2 or 3. This is only page 1. It wasn't on page 1. I didn't include it. So here we are for these 2 terms, all over the place. Let's see, we've got a few more here. Organic body hair removal to page 1. Got this guy doing his little thing down there. That's pretty funny. That wasn't ours, by the way. That was a different one, but I just thought the picture was funny. Benefits of body sugaring, professional wear, wax for hair removal. And I think this might be the last one here. No, we've got 2 more. Hair removal options for men, men's Brazilian wax kit. Again, I want to show you all 20. Here's another one. It's getting redundant now. We're all over page 1. This is the last one. Hair removal waxing kit for men. Again, 2 great news placements right there. 2 more placements here. Under news, we got the top 2. Again, all within a week. I mean, I don't know. I mean, where else can you do that? Where else can you get this type of exposure? And the idea is that, hey, if we go after, if you're selling an iPhone case, am I going to get you to the top of page 1 for? Of course not. That would be. I mean, I hope I do, but that seems unlikely. That's a crazy competitive term. We're going to go after, like any SEO strategy, we're going to go after the longer tails first. We're going to take the lowest hanging fruits first, obviously, but it just goes to show the power. And this is designed to be done month after month. This is like a once a month minimum blast out. So imagine if we're continually targeting the same terms over and over and over, even if it's a heavier term, you will start to get love because these are all high authority placements we're getting you. So that's brand builder. Now we're moving into the final thing, and I'm almost done. You finally listen to me stop talking. Public relations and earned media. And this is mainly for brands that are growing or starting to get really well established. Maybe you do have your Shopify. Maybe you're selling at Walmart, eBay, Shopify, whatever you got going on. Maybe you're starting to work on getting into retail shops. This takes you to the next level. And there is no major publication or website, television, radio that we have not gotten someone into over time. I can almost guarantee that. We're getting into these types of magazines and these types of publications all the time. And typically people come to us, like I had a guy come to us with a wearable technology device. He said, look, I got 5 places I want to be. I want to be in Wired. I want to be in TechCrunch. I want to be on BuzzFeed. I can't remember the other 2. I said, well, I can't guarantee I'm going to get you there, but I probably will get you there over time on all of those. In the meantime, let's just start to work on it, because what we did was we went out and hired a public relations team that had over 20 years experience. And let's face it, we hired them for the Rolodex because they have contacts at every single media outlet. So We basically call them up and say, hey, you know, we got this great product or this great service or this great whatever it happens to be. Are you interested in it? They're like, yeah, hey, that'd be cool. But here's the thing is let's say, you know, you sell a home and garden product and it's your dream to be in Martha Stewart Living and you're going to blow up your business. Great. So we'll call up our contracts over at Martha Stewart and they might love your idea, your product or whatever, but they're like, hey, look, you know, this is cool, but we can't really see fitting this in until mid-November. Okay, fine. So it takes a while to get that flywheel moving. Like we guarantee you placements every single month, but those big, you know, heavyweight dream places, it can take a little while to get them going because they can't just, you know, oh yeah, I'll publish it tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't work that way, right? So that's how this sort of works. So basically, when people come to us, they're always like, oh my God, I got this competitor. They're always on top of the news cycle. They're always getting media exposure. They're always in gift guides. They're always in lists. They're always in mentions. How the hell do they do it? Well, they got a PR firm, right? So what is public relations and why is it essential to your success? When used correctly, it's going to make or break you. It is going to make you break you. We can get you into practically anywhere. We have influencer placements. We're doing gift guides. We do on-camera interviews, live events, trade shows, you name it, we can do it. Okay. And it gives you heavyweight authority, but it can also blow up your business. But here's the thing, it's traditionally not for the faint of heart. And the funny thing is I used to work with a guy over at, I won't name the website, but it was freaking expensive. It was a $55,000 retainer just to get started. And, you know, most small, medium-sized businesses just aren't going to do it. That's just out of the budget, out of mind. It's just not going to happen, right? And then they have costs for different types of things they would do. It's just not going to happen, period. So what we did was we did this out of necessity because we wanted PR for some of our other businesses. So it just made sense for us to bring on our own PR team. And we wanted to make it affordable. So we broke it down into sort of a monthly expense thing. But let me just show you some different case studies using some, I know I've got case studies up to yin yang for all kinds of businesses, but I'm just going to show you some physical product case studies. And the first one is for Patriot Coolers. I mean, they sell on Amazon, they sell on their own site. They've become quite big. But these guys had, they wanted to support their charity. It's called Homes for Our Troops, okay? And they basically just wanted to get support for this charity and really open up people's eyes to what they were doing, okay? So we're just going to start pitching national stories, okay, to try to get into outdoor living magazines, hunting and fishing, whatever, military type stuff. And that's what we did. I mean, in less than 4 months, we got them in, you know, like MSN, MSN Lifestyle, Yahoo, Travel, Authority Magazine, Houston Style, Veterans News, and a whole bunch of others, right? And that's sort of what we do. Got another really interesting one, Nature Nates. I don't know if anybody here is from the U.S., but they're called the Little Honey Company from Texas, and they wanted to create a year-long, I think it was a year-long, we did media program, right? So we just started to build different connections. Now, this is an elaborate campaign. This isn't what your typically person would do. So we had influence relations, we had earned media, we had honey month marketing, a whole bunch of stuff. We had a lifestyle expert come in, like they were going whole hog, right? We got them to be the #1 branded honey on the market. Okay, double-digit growth, huge corporate identity, huge respect from all their industry peers. Okay, this is just, I mean, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things, but here's just, you know, Outside Magazine, Cosmo, Women's World, look, you name it. Okay, here's the last case study I'm going to show you. And this is an interesting one, and this is for Health Warrior Superfoods. They make chia bars. Okay, they want to drive national awareness, so we want to create a news cycle promoting their launches, product launches, business programs, ambassador programs, influencers. So we did a lot of stuff nationally and regionally for these guys. Okay, I'm not going to read all this stuff, but we did a fit blogging sponsorship. It's like a health focused blogger convention. We ended up getting an NFL guy to hang out at one of their events and sign autographs and be there with the Health Warrior name. We ended up submitting them for awards, okay, and opportunities and events. We got more than 100 pieces of coverage and 3.9 billion impressions in 1 year for these guys. Good on Huffington Post, Well and Good, USA Today, Forbes. I think we had a Good Morning America on these guys too. We got them interviewed there. So it goes as deep as you want to go. Like, I mean, I'm just going to screw. You can look at these slides later if you want. But here we got them in a food beverage magazine. Got them in food. You got them in entrepreneur. The point is it doesn't have to be as elaborate as these big PR campaigns that these guys had money to spend. It can be smaller, and we can just start getting you into gift guides. We can start getting you into influencers. You start getting into magazines and websites, high authority, high traffic placements, and that is what will explode your business and build you a brand. And again, remember when I had that list, that stupid long list of all the benefits of charge higher prices, higher conversion rates, higher multiples, building a list of loyal fans. That's what this really does. And now if you're just starting off on Amazon, this is not for you. This is not where you want to be. Maybe in 6 months or in 2 years, you'll be here. But for those people who are, hey, you know what, we're doing 50 grand a month or 100 grand a month or 250, whatever that number is, you're ready to start make that leap. This greases the wheels and allows you to start your Shopify store, to start selling on Walmart.com or wherever you're going to sell, carrying your brand weight with you because you're already recognizable. You already have a list. People know your brand, and this is how you crush it. And you go from being that nameless, faceless, 1 in a million Amazon brands that nobody gives a shit about to becoming a brand that you could actually sell for some decent cake down the road and has some heavyweight authority. So
it's
that's
amazing, Shane, and I think Josh, I see what he wrote over there, and I think it's exactly to the point. He said that basically this is like a blue ocean of keywords. All these press releases, instead of fighting over a page one on Amazon, you can easily get into page one on Google with a lot of major keywords that will stick over there for a long, long time. And that's not just for launching new products. That's going to be there always or almost, for a long time. And people will always drip from there to Amazon directly to your store. So I think it's amazing the things that you're saying here. We have to wrap it up. So I don't know if you have a last slide that you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. Have we been talking that long? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
It's been an hour and 20.
Here,
and the way you present it is very interesting. And yet it's very advanced for most of the viewers. So in the end, the people left here, if they want to contact with you, how can they do it?
Yeah, well, you can just email me at Shane@prreach.com. I do have a couple of little offers I'll offer for you guys, only for your VAA people. Again, this is an easy, inexpensive way to get in. Start getting press releases going. It's not going to cost you a lot. Wonderful. Or you can do a video press release. Just go to prreach.com VA-offer. Also, if you're in that transition where you're like, okay, I need to start moving off Amazon. If you're interested in our done-for-you monthly content system, we'll offer you a deal there. And if you're interested in the PR, like that public relations earned media, we'll give you a deal there as well. Again, just go to prreach.com/VA-offer or email Shane@prreach.com. Happy to entertain anyone or to chat further. And I'm sorry, I really wanted to do some Q&A at the end of the show. I really apologize for going so late.
No, but it was very interesting, and I think we also have a lot of advanced viewers. And just to understand the power of press releases, this is something that not so many people talk about on the everyday.
Yeah, and hey, it would have been wiser for me just to talk about one narrow topic and talk forever about it. And so, if you want me to come back sometime and just talk on one little topic, perfectly happy to do that. All right. But this was a high-level overview of everything, right?
Yeah. Actually, it was very advanced, and we will be happy to host you again in the future with maybe more concentrated subject that we will talk about the same subject through that hour that we will have you. And again, it was very interesting. And guys, dear viewers, if you want to contact with his company, with Shane himself, you can send an email that you see here on the screen, or you can enter to the site prREACH with .com and /VAA offer. We will publish that link, I think, tomorrow morning or after that broadcast. And meanwhile, I want to say that I enjoyed every second. The way that you presented everything was amazing. And Gilad, thank you for the connection.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. I have to just say, for finishing that, I checked you up, Shane, about George Marisa when we last time talked. I actually called George because I know him, and we talked, and it's amazing. He's your groupie forever. Is going to stay with you because he really helped his business and really blew his way of selling and getting more customers and be on the first page. So it's actually working. This thing, it's not it's not made up, and I highly recommend it.
Fantastic. Yeah, and George is such a nice guy. He's such a wonderful person. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so good night, Amazon Nonstop. Good night, everybody. Thank you again for your time, and we see you next week again with another interesting broadcast about other subjects. So stay updated in our group. Good night.
Bye, everybody.